Hey guys, in this video I just thought I would kind of just talk about I can't get my thoughts straight. I hate it when this happens. Talk about the quality and condition of some of my wind chimes. I'm only going to be going over the ones I have hung outside right now in this video. Maybe I'll go over a few others in future videos, but for now it's just the ones out here. Because I've noticed that the condition can vary on different ones, not just on the brand, but just in general. So I wanted to start with these three. So I thought first I would look at the 27-inch cream fiend bells. I haven't had this one for that long, only since 2021. This was my first cream fiend bells. And it honestly still looks brand new. I mean, you can tell that it's kind of an older model because it doesn't have the engraving on the wind catcher. And yeah, it still says QMT wind chimes here. But I mean, of course, cream fiend bells are American made, so they're good quality, so they hold up, and this right here definitely comes to show. And of course, you gotta love the sound on cream fiend bells. But yeah, this one has held up really well. Everything's still intact. There's no paint chipping off, none of that. And then this one, the 36-inch, this was my second cream fiend bells. I got this one just a few months after this one. This one surprisingly already has paint chipping off. You look here, and yeah, there's paint. Stupid fly. Sorry. Where else? I could have sworn there were more. Oh yeah, right there. I could have sworn there was another tube that had I'm looking. I thought there was another tube that had some chipped paint. But this one definitely got the worst of it. I don't know what happened here. I mean, it doesn't look horrible, but just I'm actually kind of surprised it's already chipping because, again, I've only had it since 2021, just a few months after I got that one. So, yeah. Granted, this is one I have. Oh yeah, there's also a little bit on the wind catcher, but granted, this is one that I hang outside a lot because I never hang this one inside, and it's usually not in the storage room either. This one I don't have outside nearly as often. It's actually one that it's still hung outside a lot, but not that much. It's more commonly in the storage room. But this one is hung out here a lot, so I think that's part of... Oh, okay, here's... Yeah, there's more of it right there. Good. Oh, geez, why did my phone just ding at me? Someone texting me? Let me look. It's not showing me, I don't know. Maybe it's not showing me for some reason. I'll have to look after the recording. Maybe one of my friends texted me. I don't know. But, yeah, I don't know. I'm just a little surprised. Also, another thing I've noticed about the Midnight Blue cream fiend bells is that they've actually changed them over the years. I feel that they don't look as good as they used to. Because I remember back in the day, they used to have this much more... I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like they used to have this much more of a rich blue. Over the years, I feel like they just got much darker. And if you're looking at it, in really bad lighting, you sometimes can't even tell it's blue. It's just, I don't know, it just doesn't look as good as it used to. And mine, you can definitely see that it's darker than the older ones, but I feel like it's gotten even darker since then, since I got mine. I mean, mine still looks good, but the ones I see now are just kind of overkill. They just don't have this true blue to them anymore. At least that's how I feel. And then this one, I've only had this one for over a year, so I mean, I think it's got some things of dirt on it, but I mean, that's to be expected since this is another one I have hung outside a lot, and it is way too heavy for me to hang inside, so if it's not hung outside, then it's usually put away in the storage room, but this is one that I very rarely have in the storage room, so yeah, this one has been exposed to the elements a lot, and I mean, yeah, it's only been a year since I got it, but still, I'm impressed with how well it's held up. Now this one has me kind of disappointed. My Woodstock Chimes of Lun. Now, of course, we all know Woodstock Chimes aren't made to last as long as Wind River Chimes, at least not anymore. Those last way longer. But the quality has definitely dropped. It's been dropping since, I'd want to say, maybe 2015. I think 2015 was when it really started to drop. And then it got 10 times worse ever since Sullivan's took over. Because, Sullivan's just keeps ruining Woodstock Chimes. And I actually got an advertisement on YouTube yesterday for Sullivan's. And the lady in the advertisement said, "At Sullivan's, we try to make the best quality products." And I laughed so hard. I laughed so hard and just went, "Yeah, high quality products, my ass." I actually laughed like it was the funniest thing I've ever heard, because it was funny. Because I 100% disagree. But this one was, I did get my Chimes of Lun before Sullivan took over. This was back in 2015, and even though this is one that I don't hang outside very often, it's still, I mean, it could look worse, but look at this. You got all this rot here, and then it's also paint that's chipping off of it. The tubes are very smudged. And then, oh yeah, the back of the wing catcher looks even worse. The striker doesn't look good. It's got cracks on it. Doesn't look good here. Yeah, you can see here, this is what it used to look like. The bottom of the striker shows that. And then the top piece looks, yeah, it's got a lot of rot on the top piece. The top piece definitely got the worst of it. Still sounds good though, but yeah, it definitely could have held up better. I actually once, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I once read an Amazon review that someone left on the Chimes of Parch, saying that they had, I guess they got an older model for the Chimes of Parch that lasted them for, I think, 15 years. It eventually broke, and they got a new one. And the new one, I think, lasted less than 5 years before they had to throw it out. That's just... Yeah, the old one, I was actually impressed when I heard that the old one lasted for 15 years. That is definitely impressive. That's a long time for an outdoor wind chime. And then this is one that I more commonly hang inside. It's usually in my room. It's kind of uncommon for me to have this one hung outside. Despite that, though, look at this bullshit. Even the bottom piece of the striker has rot, and look around the sides. All around the sides of the striker, I think the striker definitely got the worst of it on this one, because the wing catcher surprisingly doesn't look that bad. I think some of the engraving, I think, is starting to scrape off. The tubes still look fine, and then the top piece could look better, but still not as bad as the Chimes of Lun. So, but for some reason, I don't know why the striker looks so bad compared to the rest of it. That is just so weird to me. Okay, I over here with the, I forget how many inches this one is. I forget what they say, but one of my area chimes. I think this one I've had since 2015, and this is another one that's just way too heavy to have hung inside. So usually it's either hung outside or it's in the storage room. And this one definitely gets hung outside a lot. And of course, since it's a Wind River, it's an American-made chime, it has held up very well. I must say, it's still in good shape. The tubes still look good. And on the wood pieces, it's just got the typical weathering, but that's to be expected because, again, this one is hung outside a lot. So, yeah, no rot, no cracks on it. It still looks good. And then the next one I want to look at is pretty much one of the main reasons as to why I believe that the quality on Woodstock chimes really started dropping in 2015. Because again, this one doesn't get hung outside that often, but I just feel that this one has held up better than other Woodstock chimes I have. Again, the tubes look good, the striker looks perfectly fine, and then the wind catcher looks perfectly fine. And I've had this one since 2014, so now, unfortunately, I did notice that the top looks like it's starting to rot, and then there's just that thing on it. So, not exactly thrilled to see that, but I don't know, just... Another thing I've noticed is that how much the sound quality has changed. I know people like to talk about how much the sound quality has changed on the chimes of Neptune, but it's not just that one, I feel. Because I forget what video I saw, but I saw a newer version of the chimes of Provence. And hold on a sec. Alright, sorry about that, I'm back. As I was saying, I saw a newer model for the chimes of Provence on a YouTube video. I forget what it was I saw it on, but it sounded kind of out of tune. It just, I don't know, just one or two of the notes just sounded kind of off. And just comparing it with mine sounds way more in tune. Yeah, this to me just sounds much better. Which definitely makes me glad that I decided to get this chime when I did. It's a good thing that I decided to get it in 2014. And it's not much later when the quality really started to decline. Another one that I've had since 2014. Yeah, this one is also, this one is another one that gets hung outside quite a bit, and yet, it's got a little bit of smudging on the tubes. There's just some gunk on it, but not horrible, and no rot on this. None of the wood pieces have rot. It does have a lot of paint chipping off, though. Yeah, look there, and then the top you can see. Yeah, that's all paint that's chipping off, but no real rot. And then this is one I haven't had for that long. I've only had this since 2023. And already it looks like, I don't know how you can see it, but it looks like there's already paint that's starting to come off. I've only had it since 2023. I've only had it since 2023. It doesn't. This is another one that I don't hang outside very often, and yet, are you kidding me? Yeah, I think I got this one in brand new condition, so I can't really say I'm that surprised. But still, that's just wow. I mean, then this one, yeah, I don't really remember how long I've had this one. I know it's been a while. I'd want to say probably since 2016. That's my best guess on when I got it. I can't remember for certain though if it was 2016 or not. It's ringing quite a bit. But yeah, there is unfortunately rot on the top, and then I don't know if you can see it, but there's a crack on the wind catcher here, and I'm worried that it'll eventually split and cause the wind catcher to fall off. I'm hoping that doesn't happen. And there's also paint that's chipping off of it, unfortunately. And it's got a little bit of rot on the striker there. This one sounds great though, so but I don't know. I just feel like a lot of the Woodstock chimes the wood pieces on them start to rot just more quickly than they should. And I don't think I'm the only one who feels that way. That X-Heart chime, I very rarely hang this one outside. In fact, when I hung this one outside, I don't want to say in February, that was actually the first time in years I hung it outside. And then the other two I hung out more recently. Again, when I hung these two over here, it was the first time in years I had them hung up. Oh, wow. And then you just got this, this is just a generic chime, just a much cheaper one. I can barely hear, wow. I wasn't planning on making this a windy day video, but I guess it sort of is one anyways. As I was saying, this is just a kind of a generic chime. Another one that I rarely hang outside, and already it's got all this rot on the wooden pieces. It's gotten that bad already just from the short few times I hung it outside. But I mean, what are you gonna expect from a much cheaper chime? I will say this one doesn't sound that bad though. That's which is why I actually decided to keep this one, because you might have noticed that in my wind chime collection video for this year that a lot of my cheaper chimes were gone. Yeah, I'm sure you noticed. The Gazing Ball chime, this is definitely a good quality chime here. This one is well made. It sounds really good, it looks really good, and it's made of really good materials, so it's got a little bit of, oh yeah, especially here, got a little bit of stuff on the tubes, but nothing horrible. So yeah, this, and then the strings are still good on this, so yeah, it's held up nicely. It is another one that I haven't had for that long though. I think since only 2022 or Maybe 2023, I don't remember. And then the X-Heart chime here is one I've had this one forever. This is an old one. I think since probably, I'd want to say 2011 I've had this one. The Cardinal I think I've also had I think I also got this one in 2011. And then the Hummingbird I know I got in 2012. Oh yeah, the wood, and then the Chimes of Saturn over here still has bird shit on it. I need to clean this one up. I love how the wind picks up when I wasn't even going for a windy day video. Of course the wind decides to show up when it's not my main focus. That's how it works, it seems. Anyways. This one is one I haven't had for long, I think. Yeah, I've only had this one for over a year. Got it in 2024. Yeah. And already it's starting to... yeah, this really comes to show how much that the quality has gotten even worse since Sullivan took over, because again, I got this in brand new condition. Yeah, especially over here, it's already got rot on the top. If this were a much older model, it wouldn't be looking like this already. After just having it for only a year, yeah, it wouldn't be looking like this already if it were an older one. And then the Striker, it's not looking too good. And Windcatcher, the Windcatcher doesn't look that bad, honestly. What was that? I just saw... Oh, it was a sparrow. I was like, what was that movement? And then the Grace Note chime. I got this one in 2021, and it surprisingly is already... This is an American-made chime. I mean, it's already looking... it's kind of weathered already. It's just got a lot of marks on it. And then yeah, look at the Striker and just... And it's faded a lot, too. I'm not even mad, honestly. I'm just kind of surprised. Despite this, though, I still love Grace Note chimes. I think it's definitely my favorite wind chime company, and I greatly regret not getting more of them before they went out of business. I really wish I would have gotten more of their chimes. And this is my smaller X-Heart chime. I used to have two more like this. I had a yellow frog and a red butterfly. Some of you might remember those two from some of my older videos, but I got rid of them a few months ago. I think if I remember correctly, I ended up giving them to one of my at the time friends. And yes, I said at the time. I wouldn't be surprised if she threw them out, honestly, because she does not like me at all anymore. I'm not gonna get... I need to stop mentioning that, though. I'm not getting into full details. But yeah, this one kind of broke, as you can see there. I don't hang this. This is another one that doesn't get hung outside that often, so it could look worse. Now, for some reason, the Windcatcher is faded, but the Striker and pretty much everything else hasn't. Well, okay, no, this right here is also faded. Never mind. And it's also kind of dirty, but, you know. And then I'm trying to remember when I even got this one. I know it was just one I got at Home Depot. I'd want to say it was probably in maybe 2018 I got this one. And then the Elvis chime, I got this one in, oh my god, what year was it? 2023. And again, it doesn't get hung outside that often, so it's holding up. And then this one I've only had for a few months. I got this one in May of 2025. And already it's faded. I mean, yeah, it's not a chime from any of the brands we're familiar with. It's not a Woodstock or any of that, but still, it's already... Because I know it used to be a much brighter blue than this. Yeah, but what else should I expect from a cheaper chime? And that one's still doing all right because that's a newer one. Just got that one in August of 2025, and then my original turquoise chime that I got in 2015. This one is much more commonly hung inside, so again, rarely hung outside, so it's not in bad shape at all, honestly. It's still... And then, of course, the Music of the Spheres is new. I just got that yesterday, so... This one that I got last year is still holding up pretty well. Nothing really wrong with it. Just got a little bit of dirt smudges on it, but other than that. Yeah. No chipping on it or any of that. I think these are made in China, but they're actually pretty well made. They're not bad quality, really. And then the chimes of Neptune. Literally got this one, I think, in 2024. And already, I mean, I do hang this one outside a lot, but still, it should not be looking like this already. A little bit of rot on the striker. The wind catcher... Okay, now the wind catcher actually still looks pretty good. Now the top piece... Yeah, it's barely even red anymore because the top piece has tons of rot. That to me is crazy. Yeah, that's a lot of rot that it's got there. And then, oh my god, ugh. Yeah, I decided to save the worst for last. I love the Chimes of Venus. It sounds great. I definitely got a good sounding one. But this one, the one I got was just not made to last. It was just not made to survive the elements. I think it was 2023 I got this one. And again, I love the sound of this one. But the amount of rot... Okay, first off, the tubes look awful. The tubes do not look good on this one at all. Oh, it's blowing quite a bit. Okay, now look at the... That is so much rot on the top of the striker. Look at all that. I don't know what the hell. I don't know what. Yeah, they clearly started using cheaper materials because this is insane. I don't know what they are doing. I mean, aside from the obvious. And then the striker, I meant not the striker, the wing catcher. I mean, it doesn't look as bad, but still not great. And there's also a smudge on the engraving is smudged, the paint. Oh yeah, there's also paint chipping from one of the tubes, as you can see here. Right there. Oh, and here, this tube also has... Wow. And then the top piece, yeah. Yeah, that doesn't look good either. Oh my god. I mean, I love the sound of this one, but just it's just not in good shape. And the problem is that I don't just want to just leave it lying around in the storage room, but I can't really hang it inside because it's too big. So if I want to have it hung up, I pretty much have to have it hung outside. Otherwise, it's just going to have to spend the rest of his life in the storage room. But if it stays out here, then it's... Yeah. It's already gotten this bad, so I'm just worried how bad it will get if I just continue to leave it out here, just what it will look like after the next couple of years. And of course, 2023, so... And I got it in brand new condition, so of course it's... You know, it was after Sullivan's took over. Because, you know, Sullivan's just keeps screwing up what was once a great brand. And I just now realize that this video has already gone on for over 30 minutes. So I'm going to end the video here. Bye.